name is Phila Beck and the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share and subscribe and ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. If you like Doctor Who, I'm giving away seasons of Doctor Who on DVD. This week we're giving away Doctor Who Season 4. It is starring David Tennant, Catherine Tate. Fantastic season of TV. If you've never seen this is awesome. All you have to do to win it is subscribe to the channel. That's really the most important bit. Subscribing to the channel and leave a hashtag Adipose. Adipose. That's a plot point from the first episode of the season. The instructions are in the video notes, and you can leave the hashtag here on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, wherever. I will find it. I won't find it on Instagram. Look at this grey beard. I'm a boomer. I can't do Instagram. Basically, I'm at a point in my life now where I've learnt everything I'm going to learn. Any new stuff, forget it. It's like my grandparents in the 80s. We bought them a VCR, a video recorder, and that clock they had on there flashed non-stop until the day they died. Because they never worked. I kept going to fix the time for them. They never knew how to fix it. I am that person now. Okay, that's who I've become. I'm not going to do Instagram. You know what I am going to do is the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I have just ordered about a week ago, the final volume of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. It's by Alan Moore and Kevin O'Neill. It should be here by February 10th. So I want to do a review of all the previous volumes. They say the final volume is volume 4, but I think it's volume 5. I guess we'll get into that as the reviews go along. So, what the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen is a comic book story, an ongoing comic book series by, as I said, Alan Moore and Kevin O'Neill, which takes literary horror figures from the turn of the century and puts them together in one giant supergroup. And essentially what it does. But because of the extreme skill of the people creating it, Moore and Kevin O'Neill, you get something really quite remarkable. They make these characters come alive because they understand them so intimately well, and you're able to riff on them a little bit and provide go into a different look for them, or different feel to them, which is entirely authentic. So let me show some of Kevin O'Neill's artwork first. Beforehand, Kevin O'Neill started work as a thing called an art bodger, like art assistant in the mid-70s at IPC, which is was the major publisher of British comic books. Back then, they were mainly black and white. They're very the paper they printed on was very cheap, and they would self-destruct within 3 or 4 days. It would fall apart. You would have the cover would be color, but the same paper. There's the interior, and if you're lucky, you got the interior center spread was in color. But that's basically it. So one of his jobs, was to erase the artists' names from the artwork on the comic books, on the comic strips, because the editors didn't want the creators to get too much power. So they wanted the character to be the important thing, not the creator. So he says, Kevin O'Neill says he feels he was, I don't know the English word. Okay, the Jewish word for it is metakein. Metakein is when you break something, is when you fix it. Metakein. So he says he was able to fix that. He was able to gain penance for that, because when 2000 AD launched in '77, that was the first comic book which very openly had the creators' names on it, and they had a little card with the credits on it, the credits card, which was designed by Kevin O'Neill. So let's look. He was also very famous for doing Nemesis the Warlock with Pat Mills. But let's look at some of his artwork so you can see the feel of it. And you can see it's very very distinctive. It is actually a pretty good cover. I love the representation of Captain Nemo being a Sikh. He's got that big turban on. You can just see it over here. Maybe I don't know how to point to it. I really should work out how to use OBS more. So let's go look at more of his artwork. I was swallowing the wrong thing. Now before we get into that, this is the credits for it, and I just love how in-world it is. That's the great thing about the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Everything they do is incredibly immersive and within that world. So you had the credits we saw was very very Victorian era. It felt like a musical billing. They had ads from that era, from the 1870s, 1880s. So, oh yeah, very important to know. The only like major literary character who famous British adventurer horror character who you would expect to be in there but isn't is Sherlock Holmes. And the reason there's no Sherlock Holmes in it because Alan Moore said then it would be like Sherlock Holmes and his amazing friends. So this is set in the was it for the 4 year period? I'm not sure. There's a period where Sherlock Holmes faked his death at the Reichenbach Falls. So this is when this volume is set, and the basic plot of the first half is the creation of the script. So let's look at a little bit more of this artwork because it really gives you a feel of what they're doing with it. So we have this opening scene where they have a minor character, Campion Bond, somebody who works for the British Secret Service, and we see this whole section here where he's like taking a cigarette out and lighting it, and you don't see his face. So I think that I'm pretty sure that's a reference to the first the only George Lazenby James Bond on a Majesty's Secret Service. When they introduced him, you just saw him like taking a cigarette out and lighting it, and you saw his lips. You didn't see his full face until they presented him. So that's really the essence of this book. I think this volume. I was going to say more than the other, but no. It's dealing with the British national culture of from the emergence of pop culture onwards. So I'd say from the late 19th century onwards, and actually they deal more with like how culture has degenerated in a later volume. This volume is pretty simplistic, and I think it works better for that. It's not. The other volumes are very, very, very clever. Although my favorite is the second volume, but the other volumes are very clever, and I think they lose some of the entertainment value for that, which does happen with Alan Moore's work. But the great thing about it is because he understands the characters so intensely well, he makes them three-dimensional, real people. So Mina Harker is the major character, Mina Murray. She is the woman from the Dracula book. So to Dracula tries to seduce into vampirism. So in this, they play with that a little bit and suggest very, very strongly that she wasn't merely seduced into vampirism. She's now a vampire. She's so she's like the person they pick to put together this team. The first person she goes to recruit is she's sent to the Middle East. She has some mysterious transport how to get there. And so she goes through these like narrow alleyways or somewhere. It's Egypt or something. I really don't know where. Some Middle Eastern country, very like Indiana Jonesy feeling, until she finds an opium den, and there she finds the aged and dishevelled opium addictive form of Alan Quatermain. Alan Quatermain is the prototypical action hero. He was from King Solomon's Mines. I would say several. I can't remember off the top of my head. I really should know. But he was it Edgar Rice Burroughs created him? Again, I don't know. See, this is what happens when you don't prepare at all, which I never prepare at all. And so yeah, the type of character that is imagine like Doc Savage or Indiana Jones. They were very much cut from the cloth of Alan Quatermain. And so imagine that fused with like a British gentleman. That's who Alan Quatermain is. But right now he's like, again, he's aged and dishevelled and he's in a terrible state. And so she bundles him out and gets to the docks and says, "Don't worry, we have a transport waiting." And the transport turns out to be the Nautilus, Captain Nemo and the Nautilus. And again, you have this fantastic representation of Captain Nemo being the Sikh wearing a big turban. And again, I've never read 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I kind of trust that's what he looked like in the book, because if Alan Moore said so, I kind of believe him. Then and again, each character has distinct personality and personality traits, which is why I really I love about Alan Moore's work. And it's so sad we see that. So we see all this like geneticism, genericism in comic books now. You often don't get these fully fleshed out characters. The next person they go to recruit is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, who I believe they have in police custody, and it's like some Suicide Squad deal that he has to work for this group to be able to not be executed. I can't remember how they captured him. And the representation of Mr. Hyde is just Jekyll and Hyde, just fantastic. He's like this giant towering monster that like looms over Jekyll. And yeah, I think it was in the second volume, first or second volume, I can't remember which one, but they talk about how like when Hyde was first created, he was tiny. He was like came up to his knee or something, and now he's massive. Where Jekyll is tiny. So yeah, but again, just the visual of that, it just that's one of the few things they did in the movie really, really well. That's one of the few things they adapted, I think, perfectly. And the best person they get is the Invisible Man. They go to a priory school where a bunch of the young ladies there have experienced immaculate conceptions. You know, they suddenly become pregnant for no reason. They go, oh, but I never slept with anyone. And they find out that they discover that yes, they have slept with somebody. They've in fact slept with I can't remember his first name. Griffin is his second name, the Invisible Man. So you get this like disparate, as I said, Suicide Squad, Dirty Dozen type group together to work for the British Empire, and so the plot of what they have to have some kind of mission they go on, which takes off the plot of the second half of the book, and it focuses on their battle with Fu Manchu, who they don't name as Fu Manchu because clearly they didn't have the rights to him. And I know nothing about Fu Manchu. Fu Manchu was a Oriental villain. All I've seen is the Peter Sellers, the ones from the 70s, but he was also in I think the 60s and as well 50s, the black and white Fu Manchu. He was like again, he's a very stereotypically Asian, somewhat racist view of Asians, being very inscrutable underworld boss. So I don't want to go into the plot because I don't want to spoil it because you haven't read it. It's really fun. It's really a lot of fun going through it, and they mash all these things up together wonderfully. The pivotal point of the Dastardly plot is using cavalrite, which is the substance they used in the First Men in the Moon, the H.G. Wells novel, or is it novella? First Men in the Moon, to propel their spaceship. This like thing that blocks gravity. It makes you fly off into it. So again, you got just reference after reference after reference after reference of all this different like pop culture stuff. Again, dating back from the very beginnings of pop culture, so it's very clever at the same time. And you have to go online to look at like I think they do an annotated version, which gives you all the references of where everything's from, and it's just packed full. But incredibly, you also get a really good, compelling story, which I guess you will kind of do if you get these interesting characters, put them together, and try and be true to them. Which I guess that's the important thing of any storytelling. And that's the first volume. I'm going to do a review of the second volume. Next review I'm going to do is going to be Picard Episode 2. Let me know if there's anything you guys want me to talk about. Somebody last week, One Bridge 11. Because I hope that's the right guy. He pointed me to the new Obi-Wan Kenobi series, and that was a great video. I really appreciate him sending it to me so I could look into it. I found it interesting. Anything you guys want to talk about? I'm more than happy to. Look, you don't need I don't need much prodding to want to start talking. I am a bit of an over speaker, as I've been referred to before. My name is Fila Becken, the Rabbi from the Planet. Please hit that like if you watch this content, enjoy this content. Please hit that like button. If you can consider subscribing, that would be fan-dabby, double dozy. And don't forget the hashtag adipose. Look in the video notes for instructions on what to do with that. And have yourself a fantastic day.